Hello, welcome beautiful vibrant souls to today's pick a card reading. So this is for our lovely 1010 portal that we're experiencing today. So happy portal day to everyone, woohoo! The number 10 is always about completion of a cycle. So this reading is meant to look at what this 1010 portal is bringing in for you. One of the things that if you've been with me in the journey to grow our blossoming community here for a moment, you've probably heard me talking about 10 always reducing down to a 1. So I always like 10s and 1s because there's that natural implication that with every ending, a new beginning is embedded in that process. So this is really going to be looking at what this portal is bringing in for you. This might be a massive wrap up. This could be kind of the beginning stages of a new phase or something like a new chapter in your journey that you're going through. This could be kind of somewhere in between. This could be the beginning of the wrap-up period. It just really is going to be different depending on where each and every one of you are on your journey. But I tried to pick 3 cards from the Divine Time Oracle as signifiers to kind of talk about being at different points along that journey. So we have 3 options to choose from today, as we usually do. Which one of these options talks about being able to speak correctly? Because I need that one. But excuse me, I'm sorry. So for group 1, we have this beginnings and endings card. It says beginnings and endings are one and the same. Oneness with 0, 0, 0, 0. Can you see that? We have group 2 with this 11, 11 awakening union card. With pay attention. And we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so sequentially increasing numbers. Or progressing numbers, there we go. And then for group 3, we have 999, endings, cycles close, new beginnings. So once again, I try to kind of make it where, this is really, if you feel like you're at this period of wrap up in your life, you might be more drawn toward 999. Excuse my cough. My allergies are awful. If you're kind of, in between the ending of a major cycle and the beginning of something new, you might be a little more drawn to the beginnings and endings card. And if you've kind of just started a bunch of new cycles after a big wrap up, then perhaps the 1111 card might draw your attention more. Obviously, please use your intuition. If you're drawn into 999, then this might talk about the ending of a cycle that's coming up for you, whether this is something you're consciously aware of or not. Just go with wherever you feel the most intuitively drawn, my sweet little loves. So take as much time as you need, pause the video if need be, meditate, contemplate on the stacks in front of you. Yeah. I think that's all we've got. With that, I'm going to start with group 1. Okay. Hi, group 1. Okay, so you guys chose the beginnings and endings card. I always really like this one. I love the number 0. It's just like, it's everything and nothing. It's that kind of source energy. It always makes me think of the Fool card in the tarot. So I feel like you guys, if you were drawn into this group, this portal is kind of helping, again, like this is in between that sort of, they're showing me the World card and the Fool card in the tarot. So it's like if you could imagine being somewhere between those two, where you have essentially wrapped up a big cycle and you're preparing to start another huge cycle. I feel like a lot of you are kind of, they're showing me like, phew. I feel like a lot of you are kind of in that interim space where you're sort of like, not even tying up loose ends. You might just feel like you're in this void energy. But for a lot of you with oneness, I feel like this is something where even if you don't usually feel comfortable in that void energy, I feel like a lot of you are kind of like intuitively understanding that there's stuff on the horizon. You might be being called to rest a lot at this time. always heed that as much as possible. This is something where I'm hearing don't force it. So like if you feel intuitively like there's a huge new cycle up ahead, you're not wrong. And especially if you're not used to being like in that kind of receptive energy, like I said, that void energy, it might sort of have that like almost anxiety producing effect of like, I should be doing something. What should I be doing? Because a lot of you might not be used to either tuning into your intuition so heavily or feeling it so strongly that like that there's stuff that's headed to you, right? So there's no reason to like worry about how much you're doing. Like I feel like a lot of you intuitively know that there's a big new cycle starting, so you're like not feeling the need to control everything, the need to always be like taking action or doing something. I feel like a lot of you are kind of in this space where you are really receptive. You're just kind of like chilling out. You're waiting for the universe to send you next, signs, steps, etc. And you are absolutely in the right energy for that. So like, excuse me, whether you're usually more in your divine masculine or divine feminine energy right now, you're being encouraged to be in your divine feminine energy. And I feel like a lot of you intuitively can sense that. So don't be afraid to honor that at this time. But let's figure out more about what this 1010 portal is bringing in for you. We have, winter, okay. The sacredness of pausing. Well, no shit. I love it. Okay, awesome. Beautiful. We have, Oceana. Take action. You're in touch with your truth in this situation, and you need to trust your gut and lovingly assert yourself. We have a turtle, by the way, right there, in case that's important for you. And we also have a dolphin up in the upper left-hand corner, in case those are important. Which one do I do now? I'm gonna move this bad boy. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Personal growth, wow. Okay, card 7, in case that's important for you. Wow, okay, not for you. Card 6, in case that's important for you. There you go. I'm trying to like make sure they're all even. I'm not good at this, you guys, I'm sorry. Wow, you got growth twice. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and then wha-bam. And worry, I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Okay, really interesting too. We have like repeating colors, repeating words. There's like a lot of synchronistic energy going on in this group. Let me make sure y'all can see this. Doo, doo, doo. Yeah, all right, that's as good as we're gonna get. Famous last words. Okay, so there's something where, all right, I'm just tuning in here. First of all, we have this full moon going on right here in the background. At the time I'm filming this, and this is like a somewhat timeless reading, I guess. It's like a semi-timeless reading, like, this portal will bring in new things for you at different times over the next year, so it's, yeah. By the time I'm filming this, we are in the middle of the the full moon in Aries. So this full moon in Aries might be playing a significant part in a new beginning, right? Aries rules the first house in the wheel of the zodiac. So there's this kind of, rebirth energy going on, right? It's the house of the self. Excuse me. I feel like you're in this interim period, right? So we have like take action. You're in touch with your truth in this situation. Then we have the sacredness of pausing. So first of all, I feel like a lot of you have been encouraged to, like I said, be in this period of pause. You're releasing a lot with the full moon image. You're letting go of a lot of things. And this is where I feel like this take action card kind of comes in, especially with all the water imagery. This is asking you to really go in the direction of your intuition and what you feel. But the way that I feel like this mostly applies here is that one of the things I think you've been working on with personal growth, because we have number 7 and we have a lot of purple here, so very spiritual energy, and then purple up here. We have with worry, I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Something I feel many of you who picked this group have been working on is how to really get in touch with your intuition and how to, again, be in that like pause, that void energy, how to kind of go with the flow, right? We have the dolphin, so you may have been, and the turtle, so you may have been working on telepathic communication, either with other people in your life or with your, just like connecting more to your spirit guides. And with the turtle here as well, I feel like this has been a really slow going journey. You may have been on like a divine feminine healing journey and it's taken a really long time. I feel like there's something here where you've become more acquainted with the idea, or like more comfortable, I guess I'll say, with the idea that all things happen in their own divine cyclical timing. And I think if you pick this group, you've been doing a lot of work to really release the need for things to happen on like an earthly time frame. And I feel like many of you have become quite comfortable with that. Like I'm getting that energy is like, this is sort of what you have worked through, is this idea that, because you've also worked through all the things that were like trying to kind of like, I guess I'll say like get you to push more of like a 3D time frame, in the sense of like feeling like you have to always be doing something, feeling like you have to be a certain level of productive in order to be doing something worthwhile, feeling like everything's got to be like now. You know, feelings of fear or fear of loss around, if I don't get XYZ by this time, I'm not going to get it, or if I don't do this much work, I'm not going to get the thing that I want, right? You've been really working through a lot of your beliefs that have been very restrictive. And these beliefs, look at the image here, right? It's like a circling the drain whirlpool kind of image. These beliefs have kept you sort of in this whirlpool energy where you're just going around and around and around in circles. And now she's like, you know, swimming freely in the water. Because I do feel like this took up a lot of mental energy, but especially a lot of emotional energy. And I feel like if you pick this group, you were kind of like, excuse me, on like a like 3D world mentality hamster wheel for a little bit, for a long time. And I feel like you've really been doing the work to really, I'm like hearing over the last 3 years for a lot of you, you've really been doing the work to separate yourself from like 3D world consciousness. And I also say that too, because we have the not for you card, right? With the chessboard, and they're separated with the black and white pieces. So like none of the pieces are moved. I feel like for this group, you may have had a lot of experiences where you were kind of like pushed to be really strategic, or like this is kind of, to me, what I'm picking up is this energy of like, you have to, excuse me, you have to take action first. You know, if you're not, oh my God, I'm sorry guys, my allergies. It's this energy of like, you know, it's this energy of like, you have to move fast and you have to move swiftly, because if you won't, your competitors will. Again, it's like very competitive versus collaborative, very 3D versus 5D, very like material versus spiritual. And this is what I feel like you've been unlearning, even if you don't identify as like a really 3D world person, is that you may have been really socially conditioned with 3D world consciousness. And I feel like you've been unlearning how to do that, and you've kind of like wiped the slate clean, which is why you're getting the opportunity for a new beginning to come in. So what this portal is bringing first and foremost is a period of pause as you release the last of this, right? With, you know, worry. I'm learning that worry doesn't change the outcome. I feel like for this group, you've been really working on learning how to reinvest your energy, is what they're saying. So taking the same energy that you would take in some other area of the manifestation process and applying it better. So instead of spending a lot of mental energy combing over a situation and saying, well, did I miss anything? Can I do anything? What can I do right now? What if this happens? What if that happens? You're taking that mental energy and, like, for example, in that situation, learning it how to, excuse me, learning how to say like, okay, you know what? Did I do everything that I could? Yep. Is there anything more I can do right now? Nope. Okay, I'm going to take this time and this energy and I'm going to focus it onto my healing, onto my rest, onto my recuperation. So when the next moment comes where I can do something, you know, the chessboard, I can make a move, I'll be ready. And I feel like for this group, just in general, you've been like unlearning a lot of old programs and like redirecting yourself, especially with mental energy. Because we have a lot of mountains in the background too, but we also have the water with the reflection. You've been doing a lot of reflective work about the obstacles that you have ahead of you or how you've handled obstacles in the past. And there's this energy where, excuse me, especially too, I feel like if you pick this group, you may have been kind of learning this sort of lesson of like, if the next step isn't obvious, then the universe hasn't given you that sign yet. Like if you can't point to it and be like, oh yeah, that's definitely where I need to go next, then you've accepted like, okay, I haven't gotten the information yet, right? You guys are learning to really, excuse me, lean on your intuition very, very heavily. And instead of, I'm almost feeling like, okay, hang on, I'm trying to describe this in words. I'm almost feeling like in the past, you may have kind of like dipped a toe in a little bit, where it's like you'd make a choice and then you'd kind of be like, okay, is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Well, it doesn't seem wrong, so I guess that's right. It's like you'd act first and then check in with your intuition after to kind of like confirm. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like you're shifting into this new kind of form of your consciousness where you're letting your intuition tell you the next step. You're not taking a step and then saying, was that good enough? Was that right? You're letting your intuition speak to you. So you might be spending more time alone, excuse me, more time in quiet reflection and meditation, more time just resting in general. You might start to see some really significant changes come in the winter time. In the Northern Hemisphere, that's coming up in a couple of months. But this is because you've really been working on your growth, right? This is the hugest thing. And for a lot of you, I'm just super drawn into this chessboard. I feel like you've been put in a position, especially with the number 6, when it comes to having reciprocal circumstances and relationships in your life. You've been put in a place, excuse me, where you've had to expend a lot of mental energy and be very, again, strategic, or the awareness, the assumption is that the other person involved is going to be manipulative or going to be strategic. And that may have left you to kind of like question everybody's motives, question everything that they were doing, question how your words and actions were being received. And there's something where it's like you're not playing anymore, right? This little fortune cookie says, nope, in all caps. And it's kind of like this energy of like, I'm not playing a game anymore. This is, this is my life, and whatever area this is in, this is like, I don't want to have it be, I don't want to be spending so much time thinking about, like I don't want to spend so much mental energy preparing to interact or to, what if this is like a job, preparing to go to work, preparing to talk to my coworkers, if this is interpersonal relationships like family, preparing for family events, preparing for conversations, this is romantic relationships, it's like this energy of like you spend so much time preparing for it, you expend a lot of emotional and mental energy in the middle of it, and then you spend a lot of time afterward combing over it, really trying to like make sure. This is this energy of like leave no stone unturned. And I feel like you guys have been really working on like letting go of the results and being like, I'm not playing this game anymore. It's very much like I want to grow, I want to relate, I want to make progress, and I want to it's not like you're not working on it or you're giving up or anything, but it's saying I'm going to let things happen more naturally, and not spend my energy in ways or places or situations where it's just going to waste, right? Like if I can't do something about it in the immediate now, I'm not going to spend the immediate now worrying about it. And this is something I think you guys have been working on. I want to know more about this though. We have, wow, yeah, the Sun and the 8 of Swords. Exactly. I want to look at, this one goes over here. Give me like 2 seconds. I want to look at this card but not take it. Yeah, the 10 of Wands. And the 9 of Swords reversed at the bottom. The burden of having to worry about your interactions with others, especially, has been weighing on you for a long time, right? With this not for you, there's something where I feel like deep down there was a belief that you couldn't be happy without having to suffer for it first, right? It's like it's like a price to pay for happiness. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, and like maybe especially with the rabbit, because this is a symbol of fertility and luck. Also, too, though, rabbits are really nervous energy. Like, rabbits and mice are mad nervous energy to me sometimes. So there's almost like this like energy of, I'm not somebody who's lucky enough to just be able to, you know, connect with others, or if this is like a work situation, to be able to go to my job and have it just be easy, right? The sun is so positive. It's the most positive card in the tarot. And then it's coupled with the Eight of Swords, right? So it's like this mental block toward being happy, or this mental like hurdle that was put up and that I feel like was given to you. And I feel like for this group, you've been doing a lot of work around uncoupling happiness from like preconceived criteria, or like preconceived kind of actions or steps that you need to participate in order to earn it, in order to have it be worthwhile, right? That you can have happiness without needing to struggle for it first. And I feel like a lot of you have been working on this really heavily. Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. It's just awful today. Yeah, exactly. Growth with the Ten of Pentacles. Oh, I love this. Okay. So for a lot of you, this really could either have to do with career or family. Let's see a little bit closer what we've got here. It's this one. What is this? I want to look at it but not take it. Okay, yeah, the Five of Swords reversed. I feel like especially in the King of Cups reversed at the bottom, you could have been dealing with a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But with that combination, this especially has to do with having discussions with people who are just like not very emotionally mature, right? The King of Cups is usually, when he's upright, he's very emotionally stable and grounded. But the Five of Swords is also an energy, but he was reversed. And B, the Five of Swords is usually an energy of getting into arguments with people who, when they get really emotionally triggered, they'll lash out. And they kind of like, they want to win in the moment so badly, they don't really think about the damage they're doing to the relationship long term. So with having those kind of come out, I feel like this is what you've been dealing with, is like kind of learning to put up some type of boundaries with petty people, or with difficult people, with people who want to make you work for their approval, their love, their affection, things that you kind of shouldn't really have to work for anyway. And I feel like a lot of your personal growth that you've been doing has been centered around coming into oneness within yourself, but it's also been centered around coming into alignment with your soul's truth and kind of letting go of what other people think about it, letting go of the anxiety. Again, this like gives me stress just looking at it right now. But letting go of the anxiety, right? And also too, I'm noticing with this leaf, this is clearly like, you know, mega dried up leaf, and it's like crumbled and missing huge pieces. It's this energy of like this was once attached to a tree, right? And it was green and thriving and probably all in one piece, and now it's not. And it's kind of just accepting like what has ended, or whatever ends as a result of you taking back your power and deciding what kind of how you want to spend your energy. Like whatever ends as a result ends. And I feel like a lot of you guys have kind of like, you're outgrowing where you used to be, and that might be why there's that feeling of a new cycle on the horizon, like right between the World and the Fool card is like, that's where you are, right? You're outgrowing all this other stuff, and as a result, you're kind of making a lot of, like, for lack of a better term, fertile space for this new beautiful kind of energy to take hold. So let's see what else we have. Yeah, we have the Two of Swords. The Three of Wands, there it is, baby. And then the Knave of Swords. I can't remember if the Knave is the Knight or the Page in this deck. I think it's the Page, but it's the Page of Swords reversed. So I feel like for you guys, part of what this growth entails is like learning how to honestly kind of keep your distance, keep your silence, right? This little, excuse me, this little Corvid right here has the key that could unlock the door, but this is reversed, right? And this is usually a card about communication. It's reversed. This is a card about a stalemate, you know, struggling to effectively communicate. I feel like after going back and forth with these people, this situation in your life, you've really just gotten to a point where with the Three of Wands, you're going after what you want. You're telling the story that you want to tell. And I feel like a lot of you, you're doing this very quietly, which is good. Like, you just stop fighting people on things. It's like, okay, you're going to believe what you're going to believe. You just disengaged. And I think people at first won't notice, or they haven't noticed. People will. This is very much like your actions are going to be speaking for you. The results, especially with the Three of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles, the results are going to be speaking for you. This can start to come in as little as, like, again, you know, starting around 3 months from now, especially with this winter energy. And then rippling out for a very long time with the Ten of Pentacles. This is like over, like, you know, you might start to see this take root, like this new cycle start to take root in about 3 months or so. But this is something where it's like gonna last for, you know, like years afterward. Or like you might have like your heyday, you know, 3 to 10 months from now, like over the next, like starting in 3 months from now and going up to like 10 months or a year from now, even to next October. But it's gonna last way past that, right? It's like at its most, like its peak, its most intense over that time. But like utilizing that energy to your advantage is gonna last you for a really, really long time. But this is kind of what I feel like. It's like you're focused on, you know, working toward your goals. You're focused on your ships coming in. And not really bothering with anything that keeps you stuck, especially too where this little Corvette's got the key. I feel like a lot of people that you've been dealing with, they like make it seem like there's no way forward when you're trying to solve a problem with them, when you're trying to like talk to them. They kind of make it seem like, again, it's very strategic. They make it seem like if you're not doing what they want you to do, or you're not interacting the way they want you to, like that's you being unwilling to participate. Or it's like this illusion that the situation can't move forward unless you do XYZ, or unless you show up in a particular way. When in reality, they might be holding on to information. There's steps that they can take, excuse me, that they are somewhat aware of, at least a little aware of, and they're holding back. And the reason why is it's a power play. They're trying to make you essentially submit and capitulate to the way that things have always been, right? So this would be, for example, let's say this is, excuse me, I'm sorry. Let's say this was a romantic partner, right? Who in the past, you know, they have, I don't know, let's say they've had responsibilities in the past and they don't take care of their responsibilities. Let's say it's like, I'm making something up entirely, but let's say this is like a partner who's not great with their money, right? And in the past, they may have, you know, not done anything about this with the Two of Swords, not really tried to kind of learn how to fix it for themselves or learn how to improve their, you know, their financial skills. And then, you know, maybe every month or every couple of months, rent is due and they're freaking out. And they would like complain to you about it or ask you for help, ask you for money. And it's not saying that it's wrong to ask for help, but like they never do anything to change that cycle, right? And whether this is a conscious thought to them or not, by not looking at their own patterns and trying to understand them and trying to make changes where they can, they're saddling you with the mental responsibility not only of helping them, but like the insecurity, like the uncertainty of like it's that chaos kind of feeling, right? Where it's like, okay, is this going to be the month where they need my help, right? So you might be like, can I afford to, you know, buy this for myself? Can I afford to say yes to going on this like little, you know, mini trip, like this like 3-day weekend kind of mini vacay? Can I do this? Can I do that? Because you never know when this person is gonna come to you with, you know, huge complaints or like asking for help, right? It's like that kind of energy where it's like there's a dynamic and this person like kind of like weaponized in weaponized incompetence. You guys, I accidentally say weaponized incontinence all the time, and I'm trying so hard not to. Anyway, this kind of has that energy though, right? Where it's like something that they do, like some type of pattern you have with them. It's a stalemate pattern because it's a power struggle. And the reason why is because they're holding on to information. This person has the key to be able to unlock the door for themselves, and by extension for you when you're helping them. And part of them deep down, and again, I don't know how conscious this really is, part of them deep down keeps not doing anything with this because it's a power play, because they're trying to like make you play their game. For, you know, any number of reasons. It'll be different for, you know, each person's situation, but that's kind of what's happening here. And I feel like by you refusing to play their game, so, you know, in the example I just used, this would be like letting them know from the get-go, like the beginning of the month, like, hey, you know, I'm going to be doing this month. I know I've helped you in the past with, you know, when you've come up short for rent, but just so you're aware, I can't do that this month, so plan accordingly. Or like, you know, if you help them out or something like that, you're like, hey, I found this, I don't know, this YouTube video about like a really simple monthly budget. Why don't I send it to you? Because I can't keep helping you out like this all the time. So from this point on out, I can lend you other kinds of support, but not the way I have in the past, right? That would be like kind of a good compromise. It's like, hey, if you want to learn how to do a budget, there's this resource. I will help you. I'll sit down and go through it with you. I will help empower you to get yourself unstuck. But I can't help you in the way that I've helped you in the past. It's just not good for me. It's kind of the energy, whether you've directly said that or not. And because you've really like put this to the side and you've decided somewhere deep within yourself that you're like, again, you're like finding your light deep within. But because you've decided you're not doing this anymore, and you're like really putting your energy toward your future and toward planning for your future, taking steps for your future, and honestly just freeing up your energy to manifest this future, that's what's bringing it in. So I really love that. I do want to grab you guys just some final cards of advice though. Do I flip it? No, okay. I do want to grab you guys some final cards of advice. Oh, okay. Wow, all right. So we have the Seven of Pentacles reversed, the Devil, and the Nine of Cups reversed. Okay, so for some of you, where you're in this, you know, transitional place, for some of you, you're gaining further insight and clarity that whatever this situation is, it's not good for you, but you haven't taken the steps to distance yourself yet, right? And that's okay. But your team really wants to know, for some of you, and this won't apply to everybody. First of all, we have Capricorn energy with the Devil here. This almost has, like, to me, this energy of the sunken cost fallacy, where some of you are afraid to step away from this situation because it's almost like I've invested so much, right? Nine of Cups reversed. I really thought this was going to work out. If this doesn't work out, you know, what will, right? This is like your wish come true. So it's like, if this doesn't work, you know, what does that mean for me? And what your team really wants you to know is to try not to get lost in this way of thinking, right? I'm almost getting to, because we have this wolf, it's making me think of like lone wolf energy. For some of you, it feels like there's this fear of like walking alone, or this, by contrast, this fear of like, if I let go of this, you know, this job, this dynamic, this relationship, you know, what does that say about me in terms of the ability to, you know, lead my own life, right? That's kind of the energy I'm picking up here, is like, it's like it's either a fear that, you know, your happiness, your one shot at happiness will be gone, or again, you've invested so much now that like walking away from it would be a huge loss, or there's a fear of being alone or something like that. And basically what your team really wants you to know is that regardless of what category you fall into, this situation might be highly karmic, but also very toxic. This situation is not going to yield the Nine of Cups for you. It's not going to be satisfying in the end, right? Because the Nine of Cups, I always say this, like the Nine of Cups has this energy of like, you know, when you've been craving a food all day and then you finally get it, and like you know, you sit down and you're savoring the moment, like every single bite. And sometimes you have that happen and you're like, oh, that was nice, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But sometimes you have that moment where it's just on your mind all day and you sit down and you just like eat the whole thing bit by bit and you enjoy every second of it. And you're like, wow, you know what? I really thought I wanted that food and I did. It was just as good as I thought it would be. Even better, like, oh, perfect. That's the feeling of the Nine of Cups. I feel like a lot of you have kept going in this situation, hoping that it will turn itself into the Nine of Cups. And what your team really wants you to know is like, this situation, there may have been potential at one point, but for where the situation has been, and with the Seven of Pentacles has been for quite some time, it would have to go through so much transformation, because at the bottom of the deck, we had the Knight of Pentacles reversed, which is like going nowhere fast. You're investing a ton into something that's not going to yield anything of value. So for, you know, even if at first this seemed promising and it's not now, like the reason why this isn't going to work is because this person is withholding, right? This person who's involved in this situation is withholding. So no matter how much you problem solve, no matter how many times you show up for them, no matter how many times you put your needs and wants on the back burner in favor of helping them with the hopes that it will turn into your wish come true, it's not going to, because this person's got their own pretty significant BS they've got to deal with, right? You know, another kind of energy of the lone wolf here is this person is alone in all of the ways that matter. And that may have happened to them initially, but they do it to themselves now, right? When we get hurt, you know, your wounding is not your fault, but healing it is your responsibility. And this person is heels dug in, unwilling to do it, if they're even aware, if they even can do it. And it's not fair that you should have to put your happiness on hold for them to be brave enough to face their own shadow, right? And some of you might know this, and this is just confirmation. Some of you may be waffling like, I want to let this situation go, but, you know, I don't know how. What if, you know, it turns around right after I leave? It's not going to turn around, sweetheart. I'm really sorry. But like, they're really clear about this. This situation is not going to improve. So whatever you've been thinking about letting go of, you are absolutely on point, right? And a good way to know is, does it keep you on the back foot? Does it keep you feeling dysregulated, feeling like you have to compensate, you have to like strategize, you have to comb over in your mind everything you say, everything they say? Because if so, it takes up so much more than just the mental energy in the moment. It takes up so much of your precious time and energy that you could be using pursuing what will actually be solid, foundational, and long-lasting for you. So lots of big important themes coming in as a result of this portal day for you guys. I think this is just about everything that I have for group 1. I hope this has been helpful. If you need help with your specific situation, please feel free to check out my shop link in the description box below. It has been an honor and a joy getting to read for you guys today. I hope I get to again in the future. Take care, love bugs. Bye. Hi, group 2. Okay. Already I feel like this energy is a little lighter than group 1. You know, we do have 1111 here. So I don't want to speak too soon. I do feel like this might have to, you know, we have awakening union. I'm really drawn into the 3. So for some of you, I feel like this is a split. For some of you, this has to do with a very significant soul union. But for others of you, this is really about coming into union within yourself, particularly because there's something that you need to say. There's some type of self-expression that needs to happen. This could be creatively. But for some of you, this has to do with your life purpose. And for all of you, regardless of how this resonates and regardless of what comes out, because I haven't seen your cards yet, you've already kind of started taking steps toward this new beginning, and this 1010 portal is going to be closing out old energies that might be kind of hanging around in your auric field. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And starting to bring in new people, new endeavors, just new stuff. Excuse me. But I do feel like a lot of you, whatever is shifting and changing, it's like this has this energy of your life purpose or getting you closer to the next phase on your divine soul path. So I like that. So let's see what you have. You have, Archangel Uriel. Your emotions are healing, which enables you to open to greater love. I will help you release anger and unforgiveness from your heart and mind. Okay, so we have Archangel Uriel coming in to help you guys out. I love that. Hang on, sorry guys. Oh my God. Sorry, my allergies, my asthma are kicking my ass. Okay, self-discipline with card 41. That reduces to a 5. Oh, we have exchanging gifts. This is 27, and that reduces to a 9. We have, what did I fucking say? All right. Well. Oh, and there's little daisies, in case daisies are important. Eternal love. Love is love is love, and it transcends physical death. You guys are my love group. We have courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. Absolutely. And pride. I love myself. I see myself in everyone. Okay. So, where do I even want to begin? I feel like for a lot of you, this has to do with a person. This is a person who you're either currently in separation from, and there's been some, I want to say you've been beefing, but like there might be a little bit of burger in there, a little bit of beef. Excuse me. Or this is a past life connection where you guys had some unresolved stuff. You both, regardless of how this resonates, you both have been working through some challenging situations in your life with self-discipline. Excuse me, we have red and green. These are, opposites on the color wheel. So this might be a very much opposites attract situation, especially with the number 5. There may have been a lot of challenges, a lot of kind of ups and downs around the ways that you are very different, as opposed to highlighting the ways in which you are the same, right? I feel like you've had a lot in this connection that has served to, again, really make sure to underline the differences. The differences between the two of you have been more pronounced than the love between the two of you. And this is because it needed to be dealt with first. You guys have a purpose together. You guys have a mission together. I know we're all sick of hearing it. I'm with you. I love you. Excuse me. But you guys do. You have a purpose and a mission together. And this is why there's this energy of putting it out all on the table now, right? It's let's get our BS out of the way. So after we become aware of it, and it doesn't mean it's smooth sailing forever and ever. But it's once you face something and you are aware of it, and you're also committed to being able to look at it without judgment for self or for the other person, right? And so it's this fine line to walk where you're not saying, oh, that's just how I am, but you're also not berating yourself into the dust over your very human qualities and mistakes, and vice versa to the other person, right? You're not filled with anger and resentment and unwilling to forgive them, vice versa. They're not feeling like that toward you. You see the humanity in each other. You meet each other with the eyes of unconditional love. Now that doesn't mean unconditional love is not the same thing for unconditional tolerance, specifically of toxic behavior. And I really want to specify that and emphasize that. We can love somebody and recognize hey, my love for you is unconditional, but I also love myself, and I'm not going to put up with behavior that is toxic to me. That's just not an option. And these are very, very different things. I'm noticing here with the cat and then all the pink, some of you have been you've been put in situations where you're like, you're learning how to balance out love with independence, just because cats are very independent, and pink is the color of the heart chakra. For some of you, you've been, because we have the number 9, so it's wrapping up a cycle. You've been wrapping up a period of separation, wrapping up a cycle where it's really helped to bring you closer to your higher self, right? It's really served to, because the balance here again is balancing between love, and then like it's balancing between love for self and others, essentially, is what I'm kind of picking up from this energy right now. And this separation has actually yielded a lot of gifts that I think will become much more apparent over time. Because I feel like a lot of you right now with this card coming out may have really been in this period where you were dealing with like really challenging emotions. I almost heard chunky emotions. Like, they're hefty. They're just like, they're showing me chunky peanut butter. So it's like there's been some significant pieces in the way. Like, there's just been a lot to deal with. And I feel like you guys have had opposite work, right? So if one person tends to be, excuse me, because I'm thinking, they're showing me now the Aries Libra axis in the wheel of the zodiac, and the common like kind of quest that they both share is how to negotiate a healthy relationship to self versus a healthy relationship to others, right? And I feel like you guys have had opposite work, right? And it has required self-discipline. For example, if you tend to be more of like on the shadow aspects of Libra, right? In their shadow, in their unhealed side, they can be a little bit self-sacrificial. They can be a little bit of a people pleaser, right? And that's because they're so determined to maintain interpersonal harmony that they'll sacrifice their own happiness and harmony to do so sometimes in their unhealed nature, right? Obviously, shadow side. Excuse me. And similarly, you know, Aries in its shadow side, right, is known for being kind of selfish, right? They'll do the opposite. They'll just like do their own thing to the point where they struggle to kind of play with others, so to speak. And so when both of these kind of equilibrate, they take the best, you know, the best traits of either, you know, sign, and they incorporate it into their own, you know, their own journey, their own soul. This is where they meet in the middle and they find balance at a soul level. So I almost am getting for this group, you guys have been like working on opposite things. So if you're, like I said, more of that shadow Libra energy, you may have been kind of forced to really be alone, or maybe not forced to be alone, but like maybe there's been separation and you've been really healing from a lot of challenging emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of bitterness. Maybe you're like, fuck this, I'm not dating anymore. Like, I'd rather be by myself. Like, there's, you might have like rolled your eyes when you got the love one, where it's like, fucking make me, is kind of the energy I'm picking up here. It's like, make me, like, eat my butt, universe. Like, that's the energy I'm getting here. Like one of my close friends will say that, she'll be like, eat my butt. It's like, it's that vibe. Oh my God, excuse me. And similarly, you know, the flip side is if you're somebody who usually likes to be alone, right, struggles to be part of a team, you may have been dealing with really, really challenging emotions when it comes to feeling like your space is threatened, right? Feeling like you're being invaded almost by the other person. And, you know, I'm kind of almost picking up like, if you guys have already been in union and you've separated, the one that likes to be more independent, it's like they've had more hermit mode time, which they like, but they've utilized it differently. I feel like in the past they've used hermit mode as a way to kind of justify self-isolation. Excuse me, or at least emotional self-isolation, but they've been utilizing it differently now. So like, for example, if in the past, you know, their idea of hermit mode was like, I like to be single a lot, like I'm gonna do me, but they haven't really done the work. This is where they might be like, you know, doing the single thing, but they're not really like spending a lot of time dating. They're spending time like connecting with other important relationships in their life, like friends or family, or like if they, you know, struggled a lot with just like stability in their life in general, they've been working on that. If there's been any hint of like, Like, they may have also been really doing the inner work. So it's like it has this energy that from the surface, they might look like they're kind of doing what they always do. Excuse me. But it's been different this time. You know, with the roots here as well, it makes me think about how trees can communicate through their root systems with one another. You guys might have like a lot of telepathic communication. I'm noticing how it's touching their shoulders. So there might be almost this like telekinetic kind of, like clairkinetic kind of like communication where you feel like, you know how sometimes you can feel like the energy of somebody standing behind you and then there's nobody there. You might like feel this person's energy and you turn around and it's like, oh yeah, there's nothing there. This person might talk to you a lot when they're by themselves. I don't know why, but I'm definitely getting that. Oh my God, I'm sorry guys. Oh my God, my allergies, they're killing me. Yeah, so I do see for some of you that's kind of what's been going on. And if that's the case, you know, hang on, let me just move the cat fur. These are the kind of lessons you guys have been working on. One person, you know, with courage here, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. One person's been really working on doing the things that they've been afraid to do. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And I feel like, well, one person's been really working on like doing things they've been afraid to do. I feel like this is most likely like the, you know, the more Libra-ish kind of person. Like if this is you, you know, it's like, I'm finally living by my own terms, right? Maybe you've like taken a risk and you've done some things you haven't done before. And in general, this applies to both people, right? Excuse me, I'm sorry. But like taking a risk and doing things that you would otherwise not have done. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try this. Like I'm gonna, you know, what do I have left to lose? Like it's kind of this energy of like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for what makes me happy. And then there's you know, the other person with I love myself and I see myself in everyone. I think the other person, this is likely the more kind of like independent one of the two. The other person has been really being prompted to connect deeply with other people. And I don't mean that like in a romantic context, like I said, to work on the other relationships in their life. Because I think that person is very used to being alone, right? So both of you are finding gifts in this separation. One of you is finding the, you know, gift of really being able to have the courage to live life on your own terms. Because it does take courage for sure, especially if you've always had to worry about somebody else or always had to worry about, you know, taking care of somebody else. When you're living for yourself, it is exciting, but not at first. Like nobody tells you that as a recovering, you know, codependent, a recovering people pleaser. That was one of the hardest things when I started my spiritual awakening and healing journey, was like, oh my God, I'm living for myself. And I was like, that's nice. And then it felt like a minute later, I'm like, wait, what does that even mean? What am I doing? Oh my God, oh my God. So for some of you, you may have been going through that where it's like, how do I do this? How do I just like do what do I want? How do I do this? And you've been really working on it and taking chances toward what it is that you desire. And your guides are applauding you for that. And for the other person, you know, I feel like the gift here is the gift of connecting to other people, right? Now that they've connected to you, it's prompted them to want to connect to other people more deeply, because I feel like nobody could reach them the way that you could. And it's made them, even in the separation, it's made them want to be closer to other people. Now, for some of you, if you have not met this person yet, you are going to meet this person very, very soon. You guys have both been doing a lot of preparatory work. Again, I feel like if you have not met this person yet, I'm going to pull more cards about it in a sec. But if you have not met this person yet, you guys specifically agreed to not meet up right away or early on in this lifetime, because whatever this was, like I said, this is left over from a past life. So you might find that whichever one of these kind of energies you resonate with, this has been a consistent theme throughout your life. And like vice versa, whoever the other person is, the other side of the coin has like applied to them, you know, once you guys start to get to know each other, it's like it's applied to them. You'll find that you've had very similar yet oppositional experiences throughout your lifetime. I want to know more about this situation though, because I'm Curious. The Magician reversed at the bottom. So we have Gemini and Virgo here. But yeah, Six of Wands behind that. This was originally reversed. This is something where you couldn't have manifested this a moment sooner. There is a story here. There is a playbook is what I'm hearing. Certain things could not happen until other things happen. Because in this lifetime, you guys are very determined to have a successful union. And especially with the Six of Wands and that public recognition, you guys have a mission together. And it was very important that you dealt with these issues. So if you guys have already met and you've separated, this is for an incredible purpose, which I know nobody wants to hear because it's really fucking annoying. If you have not met this person yet, the delay was incredibly strategic. Things had to happen this way. There wasn't another way around it, is what I'm hearing. We have Seven of Cups. Okay. Excuse me. The Hanged Man reversed. Interesting. The Queen of Swords reversed. And Temperance. Okay. Sagittarius here. Pisces here. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius here. So I feel like there's been a lot of emotional energy, a lot of confusion. If you guys are in separation, you already know who this person is. Excuse my burp. I feel like you or this person may have had a lot of options or just had a lot of like you know what I'm picking up? I'm not picking up like a lot of options, like there were a lot of other people, but there's a lot of confusing emotions. So it's like you guys, you know, they liked you, they loved you, they wanted to be together, but they also felt like this connection was a threat to their independence, or, you know, if they're more the other side, they like wanted to be together, but they didn't know if, you know, you wanted it as much as they did, you know, whichever side you find yourself on. Some people here may have been struggling with their material and financial stability here. And they felt like they kind of couldn't give enough. Some people wanted to kind of like wait to take things further until they could have more of a solid foundation, but struggled to communicate that to you. Because I'm noticing we have a map here as well. It's like, do we have a map? It looks like a map. Hang on, let me look. Yeah, it is a map. I'm like, oh, I hope it's not one of those things where it's like different areas of the brain and I'm like messing up here. No, it's a map. One person I feel like had an idea for how things were going to go, but I don't feel like they communicated that very well, right? And that may have led to things kind of like falling apart. Because again, we have a communicator here and it's reversed. We have two full moons. This is what led to the conclusion of this connection prior. Is that I think one person kind of was confused either about what they wanted or about how to go about things, and they didn't communicate well at all. This person could have kept you waiting. You could still be waiting on this person. This person may have ghosted you or just like been seemingly kind of manipulative. Like it feels like this energy of you can never tell if this person just really sucked at communication in this instance or if they were intentionally manipulating you. And what I'm getting here is that this person's had a lot of time to think with the Hanged Man reversed. They've had a lot of time to kind of look at their emotions. I don't know if they really have a lot more clarity on their emotions, but they're aware of the fact they handled it poorly in terms of communication. They fumbled pretty heavily. And with Temperance here, they're wanting to come in possibly during Sagittarius season. To try to heal the situation. With the unicorns, they see you as very special. They see this connection as very special. It's become apparent to them that this is not an everyday thing. And it's like this, that's what guides them. That's what's leading them, right? With a little light at the end of their horn. Excuse me, the love that they feel with you, that they have with you is what prompts them to want to do the hard work. So it's kind of this energy of like, I might not have any more answers than I had before, but I know I need to work it out with you. I know I need to bring something to the table, even if it's not perfect. Because this person might be used to like having to solve problems on their own, having to do things alone, having to be, you know, the voice of reason, the problem solver for people in their life. So there's something where I feel like they couldn't get clarity. I'm gonna clarify this combo real quick. Oh, it's this one. Five of Swords. Okay. And then what was this? The Star. I feel like there's something where they were fighting themselves. Like this ended up being Yeah, Knight of Wands wanted to poke its little head out. So this person could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag. Yeah, especially with the King of Wands at the bottom. We have Aquarius energy here. So heavy fire and air. But this person, I feel like, was fighting against their nature, right? So like, let's say this is you guys, you know, right? It's like a wish on a star. And then this cat's looking back. So it's like this kind of energy where sometimes they would just be with you in this moment, right? They felt like you're like this wish come true, like you're divinely guided to be together. They just felt at peace with themselves and the universe when they were with you. But it's like a part of them. And this also could talk about an outside party, like having a negative impact, negative influence. Doesn't have to, but it's like there was a part of them with the cat imagery here. This might be the part of them that's like really used to being on their own as a way of self-protection, would like start to doubt, right? And with the Five of Swords, create like this mental chaos in their own mind where they're just like, yeah, but you know, can I really trust them? Yeah, but when is this gonna, you know, get complicated? Yeah, but, and it's like they're just like, their fears got the better of them, I feel like. And again, there could be an outside influence sort of whispering in your person's ear. So I don't really know if they have a lot more clarity about this, but I think they're a lot more clear of the fact that they were doing this. And they might not always know how to like talk about their emotions, but they're more willing to try now because they really see this as incredibly special. Now, if you haven't met this person yet, this person's been going through a lot, and I feel like you have too. This person has been wrapping up a lot of old cycles, and this person's really been contemplating these cycles, right? With the books here, contemplating the stories of their lives and gaining a lot of wisdom as a result, right? Corvids in general are mad smart. We have 2 full moons, so again, there is culmination, fruition, and release here. And as a result, this person's been like doing a lot of inner healing with like the grown-up unicorn, the baby unicorn. This person might be doing a lot of inner child healing. And again, preparing to come into union, learning also how to see themselves as special. Because if you haven't met this person yet, I have a feeling that they have been in situations where they feel really overlooked. This person feels like they might be more introverted at their core. So it's like they have this whole inner world that people don't really know about them. I feel like this person has felt not very special or been passed over a lot, you know, maybe by family or especially this would be like a really difficult mother figure. This is somebody who's very like cutting with their words, uses silence, like weaponized silence, like cold shoulder kind of stuff. Yeah, and as a result, I feel like it's kept this person stuck where they haven't really taken chances. They've kind of been like back and forth between, you know, wanting something, wanting someone, wanting, you know, this union so badly, but then also like being afraid that the bottom is going to fall out just based on their past experiences, or that, you know, you won't think that, like their divine counterpart won't think that they're as special as they, you know, they would find their divine counterpart, right? And this is what this person has been working toward. So this 1010 portal is either bringing in reunion with somebody or bringing in new union for many of you. And this is as a direct result of the hard work that you and this person have been doing, whether you know them or not. So I want to pull you guys a couple of cards of advice, just because I wanna. I'm going to flip that and then leave that. Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm dying. Okay, so for advice, we have 7 of Wands, Death, okay, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So what I feel like, you know, we have Scorpio energy here, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn here. What I feel like your team really wants you to know is that, excuse me, this person, I feel like you and this person fill similar roles, or like at your core, you're the same, right? Very nurturing, very loving, but you guys both might be used to, like you both might have had a block toward receiving in the past, and not really realized it. Because I do feel like there's some defensiveness, right? We have the hourglass here as well, and the time is pretty much run out. your team wants you to know that everything has happened exactly when it needs to. We have purple, so that's very much that kind of spiritual energy. Everything has happened when it needs to. So especially if this is somebody coming back, this has transformed. You might feel defensive. If this is a past life situation where it was unresolved, this is really talking about, you know, through, like, you know, even though there was the ending of this situation in another lifetime, right? Because we literally have like death and transcending death. The love between you does transcend death. And this is where you're being asked to try to like let your guard down, because this person, you and this person can have a really beautiful relationship, but it does need some space for you guys to be able to be vulnerable and blossom in that area. So if you have like anger and resentment and fear toward love, now is a really great time to work on that. Not even just for this divine union, but just for yourself, so you're not stuck in those energies. And Archangel Uriel is working with you at this time to help both of you overcome any kind of residual blockages. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I'm wishing you guys the best, brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. If you need help with your specific circumstances, my shop link is in the description box below. I'm so glad I got the chance to read for you. I hope I get to again in the future. And with that, take care. Bye, guys. Oh my God. Hi, group 3. Okay. So I'm really drawn into the zodiac signs here. So we have Taurus, Aries, Libra, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. Any of those may apply. But you guys chose 999, you know, endings, cycles close, new beginnings. I feel like out of all the groups, you guys are really wrapping up an old cycle. But this feels very positive. This doesn't feel like sad or heavy. There's something where this has this graduation energy. Like, I won't be surprised if when we do tarot, the world comes out. You've learned to balance your energies, for sure. Excuse my hiccup. This feels like, yeah, again, like you're graduating. I'm hearing with honors, especially with all the blue. It's like you've really come into alignment with your truth and you're living from that place. And it's not a struggle the way either you thought it would be or the way it used to be for you. This is what this portal is kind of bringing in, is a cycle closing as a result of like you getting in touch with your authentic truth. So let's see what you got for your oracle cards. We have Fiona. Now that you've asked the angels for help, be open to receiving, divine guidance and assistance. You deserve heaven's help. Okay, so for some of you, you may have recently, hang on, I'm taking a sip of my iced coffee. You may have recently kind of opened up to your guides and asked for help, and things are kind of like, you might be getting a lot of clarity on what you want, what you don't want. And this is in order to help you wrap up this cycle in your life. But let's figure out what else you have. Yeah. Oh, okay, 44, environment. We got a power number here. But that reduces to an 8. There we go. I'm so sorry, you guys. My allergies are just killing me. We have, ooh, okay, graveyard with unnecessary fear. Okay. Okay, we have message in a bottle. This is card 15 that reduces to a 6. Some pelicans, some starfish. Yeah, I'm thinking that's all the animals I see, but okay. Relationships. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. Okay. So for a lot of you, this has everything to do with speaking your truth. I feel like you guys, because look at all the blue here, we have some blue here. I feel like you've been doing a lot of contemplation when it comes to the people that you keep company with. There's something, so whenever I get environment, this to me is like something in your home, especially with all the green. This is like, so in this deck, as you can see, there are cards where the Merkaba is roughly the same color as the background. There are cards where it's the exact same, and there are cards where it's different. So when it's the same, I always look at this like your internal frequency is in resonant harmony with your external reality, right? We do the inner work first, we raise our vibration, and then it's like creating a ripple effect outward, and our external reality changes to match that vibration. So sometimes there's a gap. It's really interesting that in this one, they're the same color, but they're different shades. So to me, what I see when I see this card is like, there's something in your everyday reality, right? This usually talks to me about like home, or just somewhere where you spend a lot of time, or people who you spend a lot of time with. It's part of your like, your consistent environment. Maybe it's part of your routine, although we have relationships. So, and it's something where it's like you do, you know, green is of the heart chakra, right? So you do have love for this situation, for this person. It is very foundational to you with the 4s. But, you know, 44 ends up being equivalent to an 8. So I do feel like you're trying to manifest something. And it's like you know, either have a lot of love for or comfort from your current environment or the people you share it with, but it's not in harmony with what you really, truly want. Yeah, and so for a lot of you, I feel like you've been struggling to kind of like get in touch with this truth for yourself. Maybe struggling to get clarity. You might still be struggling, and this is what this portal is bringing in for you, is absolute clarity, so you can feel confident taking the steps that you need to take. Because I feel like there's something where it's like, you know, either this is good, but it's not quite it, or like you might be asking yourself, like, is this all there is? Do I strive for something more? Am I settling? If you're asking yourself those questions in this particular scenario, know that you're asking yourself those questions for a reason. If something doesn't feel right, it's because it's not. It's very close to what you want, or you're getting very close to what you want, but it's not quite there yet. So honor that intuitive nudge if that's what you're feeling. I feel like a lot of you, excuse me, a lot of you have been trying to gain clarity and insight when it comes to the relationships you keep in your life. And this is that a lot of you, I feel like, have had like karmic relationships, karmic cycles in your relationships. You've had like soul contracts, soul ties, and many of them are ending or need to end, right? You know, I'm looking at this little starfish here. And starfish are, you know, they're associated with numerologically with the number 5, so that of changes, of challenges. But they're also all about regeneration, right? And adaptability. And I almost feel like you've really gone through all the challenges from like a bunch of, like just a bushel of relationships. Especially with the card, with the number 15 here. This is making me think of the Devil card in the tarot. Like, you've regenerated, you've gone through all the lessons here, right? This is just like hanging out outside the bottle, but with the phone inside the bottle, you might be still waiting for some type of message, either like, you know, spiritually waiting for that epiphany, waiting for the aha, waiting for the signs, or you're like waiting to communicate with somebody, waiting for a message from somebody. You're waiting. I want to know what you're waiting for. I'm sorry. I'm spiritually nosy. It's going to bug me. Okay, the 9 of Wands. The Knight of Wands. So you might be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag. That could be you. The Magician's at the bottom in reverse. So again, Mercury energy, Gemini and Virgo. We have Strength reversed and the 4 of Cups reversed. Okay. You know, you might have been in a process of really pruning the relationships in your life, and there might be one more you're waiting on. Again, this could be a fire sign, heavy emphasis with Leo energy, but does not have to be. This is somebody who... This is somebody who, with a 9 of Wands, you've gone 20 rounds with them. You know, either like you guys fought a lot, there's been power struggles, or even just trying to figure them out, right? The phone is inside the bottle, and this little starfish is like stuck to it. So you may have really been like closely waiting for communication, or just to know where you stand with this person, right? You may have had a lot of fear around communicating authentically with them. But with this message in a bottle, I feel like there's like trying to figure out if something is going to come around or if it's time to move on with the Knight of Wands, right? Is kind of what I'm getting. Because I feel like you've been really patient. You've had to wait a really long time with the Strength card, and you're kind of asking yourself like, okay, should this person be a part of my emotional landscape as I move forward, right? You've waited on them for a really long time. We even have the full moon here. So it's like something's gotta give here. And at the time I'm filming this, we actually have a full moon in Aries right now. Excuse me. And the Four of Cups, along with the Four of Swords, when they're both reversed, those are very much like get your ass in gear cards to me. But this is what the energy is like, okay, you know what? I've waited long enough. This person needs to, they keep using the phrase shit or get off the pot. Like this person needs to make some type of definitive decision. Because I feel like you've been waiting and it's been draining your energy, like wondering, do I stick around? Do I wait for this person, right? The Knight of Wands likes to, he's inspired, he's passionate, he likes to go toward the next thing. This person may have been very inconsistent in your life. And it's like there's something there, and they like you might be kind of waiting for the acknowledgement of this. Like there's something there, and even if they don't like feel like they can meet you where you're at, even if they can't be one of these relationships that serve your higher good moving forward, it's like looking for the acknowledgement, right? It feels like there needs to be like a, you know, dot the I's and cross the T's, like looking for the acknowledgement of like, excuse me, of like, okay, you know, even if I can't commit to this, or, you know, we don't really move forward together, I want you to know you were important to me, right? With the starfish, like, there's something here about like, all right, we're starting a new cycle, we're regenerating. So this means I'd like to close out the kind of tabs from the old, right? I feel like some of you might have a fear that this person will not want to come back to you. There might be fear around talking to this person. Because I see here, again, with adversity, you know, I accept the challenge is the best way to learn. There have been things that have come out of this. I actually want to pull about that. Because I feel like you've made your peace with the idea that, like, there have been good situations to come out of this. There have been lessons that you've learned that have come out of this. But it's kind of like, okay, I can appreciate what has happened, but now I need to know if I should keep my heart open to you as I move forward. Are you of the past, or are you of my future is kind of the energy here. Seven of Pentacles reversed, the Devil. And then the Queen of Wands reversed. Okay, so what I feel like this person might have a white cat, by the way. What I feel like this person, we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius here. We have Capricorn. What I feel like has happened here is that, like in terms of what you've learned, I feel like you've overcome a lot of really challenging cycles through the time you've spent with this person, right? Seven of Pentacles reversed. You've invested in this person. You've invested some type of time with them. You've really invested your energy. And so in terms of like what this connection has taught you, what this person has taught you, I feel like this person has helped you seize your confidence, but not like in a gas you up kind of way. In fact, it might be the opposite. This person may have like, kind of with the Devil here, this person, especially because we talked about the Devil, and then we had the 15, and then it came out. It's like you guys are similar enough that you get each other, but you're different enough that you're like, you may have kind of butt heads a lot. This person may have kind of known intuitively, look how pissed this little cat is, known intuitively that you're more mature than them, because we have the Queen and the Knight. So it's like this person tried to, I feel like, take your magic from you, right? Like make you feel, because she's like gregarious, she's really well liked in a dating context, so this is a romantic relationship. She's like, she's a hot girl, right? She can do hot girl shit if she wants. And the Knight of Wands, to be fair, can be kind of a fuckboy. So like, you know, there's something where like this person I feel like recognizes that, you know what it is? It's this energy of anything I can do, you can do better. And as a result, this person may have tried to kind of like knock you off your pedestal that they put you on at different times. And that might kind of be what this devil energy is like, I feel like you're just looking to understand what the point of this relationship was and if you should hold space for it moving forward. And I'm going to be really blunt here. As soon as I said that, if you should hold space for moving forward, one of my guys just like chirped in and was like, you shouldn't. So please feel free to take that with a grain of salt. That might not be for everyone. But for a lot of you, I feel like it's like you've ended a lot of relationships that don't serve you anymore, that serve to help you learn and that were probably very challenging. And this feels like the final boss is kind of like letting this person go. Like I said, we also have, heavy fire, Capricorn, but this person's really taught you to be patient, but also learn when to cut somebody off. And this might be a lesson that you're still working on here. This person, I feel like, again, has taught you your worth by being a contrast, like a point of contrast. So there might be moments where, like, again, it's like they put you up on a pedestal with the Queen of Wands. They put you up on a pedestal and then they had issues with it. So they kind of try to like make you feel less than, make you feel like you're not worth investing in. Maybe this is like investing time, make you feel like you're not partnership material. So maybe they were like, kind of in that love them and leave them energy, or they came in real hot and heavy, real amorous. And I just feel like they've left you in this place of wondering if they're going to come back around, wondering if they do come back around, if they're sincere. And this doesn't have to be a romantic thing as well. This could really just be anyone who like, they have a lot of like excitement and passion for the time that you spend together. So if this is a friend, this is like your hype man. But then when they feel like you start to surpass them, that's when they might start kind of like almost negging you. This person's got really immature energy sometimes, and they know it too. Like, that's the thing. They know they're being a dingus, and I think part of them feels bad about it, but it's like they can't help themselves. I want to know what is the future of this situation? Because I want to get I'm not getting a distinct, like, let's just see. And again, there's so many, like, this could go so many different, the Lovers is at the bottom. This is exactly, you're making a choice here. We have the full moon again. So you're making a choice between what you want to leave behind and what you want to love, where you want to invest. And in that way, there might not be like a set answer, but I want to know, what's the future here? Okay, we have the Ace of Wands, not bad. We have the Magician reversed, not surprised. The Two of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so we have Gemini and Virgo here. In terms of the future of this relationship, taking into account that we do have the Lovers at the bottom, there is real genuine love here, right? So if you guys are confused as hell about this, I can see why. There is real genuine love, but this person is really interesting. We have a book here and a book here, and then we have like a bunch of different books. Here a book, there a book, everywhere a book. There's an element to which this story, part of the story is already, you know what I'm getting? I was gonna say this story's already been written is what I usually kind of get when I'm seeing the book imagery in this deck. I don't think that's the case. This person, whoever you're dealing with, one of their spiritual skill sets is that they have the ability, they're great manifestors, but as a result, if they are not consciously utilizing their manifestation powers in like a healthy, respectful way, they have the potential to rewrite timelines or redirect timelines. And so, like, if you've been going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with this person, and it's not just them and how they're showing up, it's the actual energy. Like, you might not be in contact with them at all, but one day you feel great about it, and like, 2 days later, you're in the, the depths of despair. This might be because this person is messing with your energy. This is not intentional. They're not aware that they're doing this with the Magician reverse, but they're kind of like, they're, with the full moon here as well, they're manifesting, and if they're not sure of what they're doing, they might be manifesting all over the place. They do want a new beginning with you. If you and this person are not talking right now, they want the passion back. They want things to be like a spark, exciting. If this is like a creative partnership, they want to be like, I'm hearing, back in the studio with you. If this is romantic, they want to be all over you. But the thing is that this person still isn't really secure in their power. They're not secure in themselves. And so while I do feel like they might be more inclined to want to do the work with the Eight of Pentacles, I would put a word of caution in, because we have seen the Devil show up, and we also had the Lovers, right? So these are usually in the traditional tarot like mirror images of each other, right? Except for in the Devil, you have a devil presiding over the union, and in the Lovers, it's an archangel, right? There is potential with this person, but like, look, we even have the two books here. It's like it could go either way, and this is because they're kind of like, as long as you are connected with them and they still have not learned to control, like to do a deep dive and control their energy, control their power, they're still going to be like jerking you around with them throughout different, excuse my burp, different timelines. And the only way to really combat this is for you to get very, very clear on what you want and what is good for you. What, you know, if this person serves your higher good or only serves to be a learning experience born out of challenge, right? With the Lovers here, you're being asked to make a choice that is going to be in alignment with your heart and soul, as well as in alignment with your higher nature, right? The higher octave of your love, as opposed to the Devil, which is something that feels like you just can't leave even if you want to, right? Keeps you stuck in lower vibrational energy. Because this person, like I said, I feel like they do want to work at it, but until they really master themselves, you're going to be fighting against their energy for a long time. It's like you're going to be in this cycle repeatedly, right? The Ace of Wands is like, we have this like passionate inspiration, like, oh, let's go do this. Or like, you know, I want to try again, baby. Like, let's give it another shot. And then the Two of Wands is where you're really trying to like, you're kind of toying around with the idea and trying to make it work, right? So like, let's say the Ace of Wands was the inspiration of like, ooh, I want to move across the country, right? The Two of Wands is like, okay, I'm going to look at apartments in, you know, this city that I've always wanted to live in. I'm going to like look for remote job opportunities, right? You're like, okay, I could do this. And, you know, if I wanted to, here's how I would do it. This is where you're starting to really make the plans. You're starting to do the work. So this person will come back with passion, want to communicate, you know, especially with all the ivy, want to communicate love, want to communicate any sense of growth that they've had. And it's genuine. They really do. They want that. And they are willing to, I feel like you've been in this cycle with them before where it started very strong. And then this person was really toying with the idea. And it's like, you guys were like thinking about the story you wanted to tell together, right? And this is where you may have started like working on it, building a relationship, building a business plan for some of you is what I'm hearing. Like really taking those steps, and then it just hit a wall. And that's because, again, with the Magician reverse, this person hasn't mastered themselves. They don't know what they want. They're like a bull in a china shop in terms of their energy and how they manifest with it. So they might have a lot of these skills and abilities. Something else I'm getting with the graveyard image is that you guys may have kind of triggered an Akashic integration within each other. So you might find that you have all these like new skills or an expansion of your spiritual gifts that came out of the time that you spent with this person. But this person still doesn't know themselves well enough to know how to use that. So as long as this person still doesn't know themselves, you're going to be doing this 2 steps forward, 1 step back dance. And this might last for quite a long time. So the question to really be like asking yourself is, you know, does this person really serve my higher good? Look at how close those shades are. Yes, it's close, but is it enough? And only you can answer that, I feel. Some of you already know the answer, or you think you know the answer. You're just kind of looking for clarity. Your angels are helping you with that. Because they don't want you to have any fear when it comes to making decisions about what's good for you. You know the way. Your soul knows its own trajectory. And some of you just have fear about kind of like taking steps in that direction. Some of you already kind of know what you want, but you're just afraid to communicate because you're afraid of an ending. Oh, there's a little orange cat outside my window. Hi, buddy. Oh my God, I've become recently obsessed with orange cats. Okay, well, that was a beautiful thing to have happen. So maybe that's a synchronicity. It's a sign for somebody. But yeah, this is what this 1010 portal is bringing in. Just a lot of clarity, a lot more kind of like resolve, or, you know, strength of will, or whatever it is that you want to call it. But things are finally becoming more clear. You will have more courage if that's what you've been lacking, to speak your truth. And things are coming together so you can wrap up a cycle and free up a lot more of your energy to pursue what you actually do want. Particularly relationships that are going to be really solid for you. After a period of releasing a lot of ones that have just served to teach you lessons. So I think that's everything I have for you guys. I hope this has been helpful. If you need help with your specific situation, please feel free to check out my shop link in the description box below. I am wishing you guys the best, brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. Take care, love bugs. Bye.